Here we are, 9:42 on a Tuesday night, and we're a little late because I was stuck in a meeting, an AMBIT presentation meeting, which was great. Hopefully that's a good excuse, or certainly one that measures up for making an accountability call a little bit late. And now I'm actually in the car. I was just having a chat with our guests tonight about being truly digitally nomadic, which is to have a business where you're making enough residual income where you don't have to be working, and you can be anywhere in the world with a laptop and a cell phone. And that's what I am right now. I'm anywhere in the world. I'm actually in Addison right now, driving down Beltline towards home. But I have my laptop here, and I'm able to record the call. And I'm obviously on the call to senior consultants Dave and LYNN NUTT. Are you chaps there?
We are.
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Again, apologies for being a little late starting tonight, but again, hopefully you'll forgive me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Superb. All right, well, let's dive straight in. We haven't talked at all about anything. When we do these accountability calls, we don't kind of prepare at all. I like to come into these completely naked, as it were, and just dive straight on in. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, fantastic, whatever it is. That's how I like it to be. So, guys, how was your Tuesday?
We had a great day. I did.
Ooh.
Well, yes.
Okay, so what happened?
I made my 3 calls. One I left a message with, but I wasn't surprised because I believe she left the country. That was Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah and I have played phone tag before, and I know she will call me back. We're phone buddies, not a problem. I have an appointment with Ishmael on Thursday at 10:20. Yes.
Well done.
I also have an appointment with Sam tomorrow about 1:30.
Man, so other than a voicemail message, which is not a negative thing, it's incomplete, you've had a 100% success rate.
That is correct.
Boy, way to set the bar nice and high for your husband. Nice to throw him under the bus like that, Lynn. Way to go.
Well, he beat me yesterday, so, you know.
Okay, all right. But that's great. So, again, as I talked about yesterday on the call, the purpose of this call is to get an opportunity to sit in front of someone and show them the business. So you've had, that's a 100% record for us. This call is nothing, the Purge call is nothing to do with whether people join or not. That's in, the fact that we do the presentation right with a 3-way call. And then it's in the lap of the gods as to whether they're going to join or not, and we're not emotionally tied to whether they do or not. But the point is, you did everything you're supposed to do on this call, and that's fantastic. So please, as I mentioned yesterday, if you could please keep score,
sure.
So we can do our statistics, as it were, on Sunday. That'd be great. What about you, Dave?
I called Galen, got his voicemail. I left a message for him. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he'll call me back. And on Dane, I left him a message, and about 15 minutes later he called me. And I used the direct approach. I will be meeting with him at Starbucks tomorrow at 6 p.m., which means I might be pushing to get back for our accountability call, but I think that's a good excuse.
Again, great excuse, but way to go. That's fantastic. Let me ask you this. Let's kind of get into a little bit of nitty-gritty on this. How are you finding the process of the invitation? Are you finding it hard to do, hard to follow? Are you finding that it kind of leads to a natural setting of the appointment? How are you finding that?
I think it leads naturally to an appointment. I mean, they have the opportunity to say no, but when the way that it's set up, I don't script it out. I just write, what the points I want to make, and that there's not a whole lot left for them to do except say okay, or I can't make that time, but I can make another time.
Yeah. What about you, Lynn?
For Ishmael, I gave him a couple of options for meeting times. We talked about getting, looking at our calendar. I gave him 2 times on Thursday, and one of them worked for him, so that worked great. He didn't ask me what it was. He didn't ask me. It was just very natural. And I used the word synergy that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
He is in real estate. The fact that my business partners perfectly with his, and I wanted him to take a look. Possibility of partnering with me. And I think a lot of it, well, I know a lot of it has to do with confidence and how you project yourself. At least that's what I'm finding. Sam is so excited to meet with me tomorrow. He can't stand it. And
well, who wouldn't be, Lynn? Lynn, come on, let's face it. Who wouldn't be excited to meet you?
Well, thank you, Richard. Part of it
Hey,
is,
Dave, you don't mind if I flirt with your wife just a little bit on the phone, do you? Is that okay?
I don't mind Richard either.
Well, here's something that's kind of interesting. I'm asking that question because I do believe that there is nuance in the invites that really helps. I think the fact that we're in a hurry definitely helps. I think that when we talk about our why, it stops people listening with their brain and listening with their heart. So that's it's just a little bit of a nuance. The fact that you're excited about the call adds excitement to the call, and kind of this is maybe why Sam was kind of excited about what you're talking about. I think then the purpose of the invite is nice and honest. I want you to see what I'm doing so that you can refer me to other folks as you're well networked. But in the cases today, you were direct and said, I'd like you to consider being a business partner with me. And then the nuance of but I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea or not. That has some it's probably more than nuance. I think it's very emphatic that it makes people feel a lot more relaxed. But also, I think as the inviter, makes you feel more relaxed when you said, you know what, I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea or not, because it's kind of a power position on your part, because it kind of says, I don't care if you're interested or not. I'm going to show you. I don't mean I don't care. I don't mind if it makes sense to you or not. I'm just going to show you anyway. And then the nuance, and again, it's not nuance, it's again nice and direct, of the very intentional setting of time, especially if you're giving an alternative to alternative times. I think all of those nuances added together seem to make the invite a very successful, respectful way of asking people to have a look at a business. Because we have a very high success rate of people being able to look at the business. As I say, the least I've had in a week is 5 opportunities to show the plan out of 10 calls, which says to me the invite must be pretty good. And I think it is to do with all of those little nuances and the fact that you've written it down or you've given yourself bullet points so you can have the confidence and the posture that you both talked about. So very interesting. Very interesting that you've had that level of success today. So what about, did you have anything to add to that, guys?
No, I think what helped, I think what helped me with Sam is we have already started a relationship with him. We invited him over for Easter dinner. He didn't have a family to eat with, and I thought, why not? And he was excited to come over. He got to know our family a little bit, and that made a difference too. Just the fact that we've already started establishing that relationship, and I think that's important.
Yeah, I think whatever you can do to add to the relationship, even if it's someone you kind of sometimes, even if you think of someone who happens to, be in the real estate industry and you find an article that was relevant to them, just to send it over and say, hey, I was thinking of you, saw this article, was thinking of you, see, if you'd be interested to give it a read. Even little things like that are adding to just a little something to relationships. I agree with you entirely there, Lynn. At the end of the day, people buy from people they like, and anything you can do to build a relationship, I think, is helpful. I don't want to confuse what we do on the Purge call with that, other than just to say I agree with what you're saying. I completely agree. So, okay, so we've got obviously some more invites for tomorrow. Who wants to go first on that?
I would like to invite Barbara and her husband. I shared the business with Barbara about 18 months ago. She was very interested. The challenge was the timing was not right for her. Her mother-in-law and her sister were both very, very ill, and she was taking care of both of them.
Wow.
Yes. They're okay now. Yeah.
So as far as an invite is concerned, again, you've listened. I know exactly what I would do with this.
Okay.
You've been on the Purge call a lot. Do you have any thoughts about how you wanted to do that invite?
I really don't. And the thing is, I want her husband to see it as well this time.
Okay. Here's what we do. This is like calling someone back who you've put on your drip list. So, and the drip list is basically something that, hold on a second. The drip list is basically somewhere where you put someone when they've looked at the business and it's not the right timing for them. So that's kind of what this is. Yours wasn't officially a drip list, but it's pretty much what that is. And when you're calling someone who's already looked at the business before, then I like to invite them in a very specific way. And that is with the 3 changes. And I'm not sure if you remember this from a call before, from a Purge call before. What I like to do is talk about, because obviously they know you're in Ambit, so there's no secret or anything like that. I still will be in a hurry. So I'd say, hey, Lynn, it's Richard here. I'm a little bit of a hurry, but I've been meaning to give you a call. Do you have a couple of minutes? And she'll say yes. And then I will go into 3 changes. The first change I'm going to talk about is what's changed in Ambit. Second is what's changed with you in Ambit. And the third is what may have changed in their life. So what I mean by that is, so the invite, if I was calling you, Lynn, I'd shown you 18 months ago, the timing was wrong. I'd say, hey, Lynn, it's Richard here. I'm in a little bit of a hurry, but do you have a couple of minutes? And you say, yeah, sure. I'd say, well, if you remember, I called you about 18 months ago to tell you about the energy business that I was involved with, Ambit Energy. Do you remember when we spoke about that? And you'll obviously say, yes. I'd say, well, I try to be I'm still very much involved with the business, and I try to be as professional as I can. I like to follow up with people. I like to follow up with people to, sorry, I'm getting calls coming through while I'm talking to you, so I keep getting distracted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I like to keep people up to date with what's going on. And so I just wanted to let you know that since we spoke, Ambit has moved into this state and this state. We've grown from $900 million to now $1.3 billion in revenue. We've also actually now moved into, expanded into Japan, as well as just recently we've expanded into Canada, and we're super excited about that. As far as Dave and I are concerned, we've promoted from RC to SC since we last spoke. That may or may not be factual, but if it's just you SC, say, we've advanced our position in the business, so we're very close to promoting to the next level. We're really excited. Things have been going so well for us with Ambit, both in corporate and both us and ourselves. And the reason why I'm calling you is one thing I know in life for anybody and everybody is things always change. And I know when we spoke about 18 months ago that you had a look and it made sense to you, but the timing was just wrong, and that was perfectly fine at the time. The one thing I know that people's lives change, and I wondered if with things may have changed in your life to a point where it may make sense to have another look and see if this would make sense at this particular time. And so I'd say, let's get together for coffee and then I'd go for the close. Let's get together for coffee on Friday after work, or maybe over the weekend, and let's have another look and see where you're at.
That sounds good. Thank you.
It's just that way you're being a professional. You're updating them on what's happened. You're updating them on Ambit Corporate. You're updating them on you and your success. You're excited about that, and then you're now going to update. You're going to now get what's happened, what's changed in their life.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's the three. Always think about the three changes: the change in Ambit, the change in you, and what may have been the change in them.
Perfect.
Okay, so are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
I have a question on that.
Sure.
If she has already seen the presentation, would this be where you would invite them to a live business presentation, like at Rudy's or one of the live presentations around the city?
I think I would take each one individually, and I don't see why not. Absolutely. I mean, there are a number of different ways we can show them the business. They have already seen the business before. I guess it depends on the individuals. It might make sense to go to a business presentation and angle the call that way. You could say, you know, the change in Ambit has been this, this, and this. The change in us have been this, this, and this. And, you know, there's obviously, you know, the one thing I know is that people's lives change, and it may be relevant for you to take another look at the business. So it's actually a business presentation, a seminar about the business happening on Thursday evening.
Mhm.
Which may be of interest to you to have a look and where you can see all the changes that have taken place. Absolutely,
Okay.
That would make. I wanted to say that out loud to see how comfortable that felt, and that felt very comfortable to me. So yeah, Dave, I think that's a great idea. I think that could work very well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So Dave, what about yourself?
Okay, well, my next one's Ralph.
Okay.
And he is a fraternity brother. He's about 3 years younger than me. He has been a vice president for a bank. He now is in partnership with a couple other people with a business. He's very, very religious. Great guy. The good news was that I was back at my college, university, in October, and he was there. So I mean, we're in the same fraternity, and we went. It was an open house for the fraternity, and we spent maybe an hour and a half just catching up, sitting on the porch and catching up. And he lives in Ohio, in the Columbus, Ohio area. So I'm thinking direct approach. You know, you're successful, Ralph. You know, you've been the president of the fraternity. You've always been very active. You support people. You know, the same way. I think a direct approach with him. You know, I like you. You know, I respect you. You know, you've been successful in life. And then come right out. I'm going to be direct with you. I would like you to look at what I'm doing because I would like referrals if it's relevant. And I'd also like you to look at it as a potential becoming a business partner. Now, it may or may not be for you, and that's okay. And then go into scheduling the time. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Dave, you're a natural. I'm listening to that, and I'm kind of gauging my visceral response to as you're talking, and that just sounds perfect. Are you familiar with any pain he has at all? Has he mentioned, you know, I need more time, or, you know, expenses, or anything like that? Or, I mean, have you got any thoughts about that at all? Or
no, I know they moved out of their house to a condo, and they downsized. Both of his kids are out. I don't know. He's probably a big giver in the church. I would imagine he's a big.
He's doing very well.
And he's done very well for himself.
Okay, and age-wise, he's you said about like late 50s, something like that.
He's late 50s, yes.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think, you know, just because he doesn't necessarily have any pain, he may be at a stage in life where for him he's obviously too young to retire. He's obviously got a lot of skill. From what I'm hearing, he's always been employed and financially sound. But something like this might be kind of intriguing to him. I know it would be to me, certainly complimentary that you're considering him as a business partner. I think I really like that direct approach. So a slight fine-tuning on the fourth element when you were talking about the purpose of the call. The purpose of the call is I want you to know what I'm doing so that, you can refer. And then right after that part, that's when I'd say, but I'd like to be direct with you. And then say, I'd like you to take a look at what I'm doing and consider becoming a business partner with me.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Hold on.
Yeah, because when you said it to me, I'd like to be direct with you. I'd like you to take a look at it because you may be able to give me some referrals. That's not being very direct. Asking someone for referrals is not a direct thing. So where you're being direct is asking him to be your business partner. So on the fourth, so you're in a hurry. You've got your why, which is number 2. You've got the purpose, which is number 3. And then number 4, sorry, not the purpose, the hook, which is number 3. And the purpose, which is number 4, and you say, I want you to take a look at what I'm doing because I know you're very well connected, and I'd love you to be able to refer people to me wherever relevant. But quite frankly, what was his name again? I'm sorry.
Ralph.
But quite frankly, Ralph, forgive me for being so direct. But I actually, and maybe you can give him a compliment. Say, look, I know you've been successful in life. I know you've, done very well at the bank or whatever it is that's relevant. I'd like you to take a look at this and consider becoming my business partner. The name, again, it's all about nuance. Using his name, and I'd like to be direct. I think that is very, very well postured. I think just hearing what you just said just then, Dave, was just you're so well postured. I think that'll be great. Make sense to you?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, hold on just one second, chaps. Are we picking up?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
Hold on just one second. It might get a little noisy. My son's girlfriend is just going to say hi to him. And she's very, very noisy.
Sure.
Okay, we're good. We warned her ahead of time, but she's the loveliest girl on the planet, but super like, hey, like this. I thought that'd be really good on our accountability call. But anyway, we're good. So Lynn, let's get back to you.
Yes. The next person for me is Sharinda.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the first thing I need to do with her is schedule lunch. And the reason I say that is she and I used to see each other about once a week. She worked at my grandson's school, and she quit her job. And about a month ago, we talked about getting together for lunch. She was too busy. We weren't able to make it happen. So I have to follow through on that. Mm-hmm. And I know that's going to happen, but from there, once I make that happen, I think I need some help on fine-tuning how to encourage the look. Her husband is a pastor, and she's looking. They need some extra income. Her husband has taken a part-time job on top of ministering at the church. So I know finances are a bit tight. My goal is to get lunch with her before the end of the week, if possible. If not, first part of next week.
I guess something's not quite clear here. Why are you going for this two-stage approach? What have I missed?
I promised her lunch. Although I promised her lunch, and I haven't fallen.
Okay,
I suppose we could do it.
And don't turn that lunch into a business presentation. That's what I'm
thinking.
I might drop in there that no, I probably wouldn't even drop in there anything. Yeah, just do the lunch thing first and gather some more information and be the good friend that you are, and just again, in no way disingenuous, just et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
And then whatever information you can glean is great. But then, when it comes to the invite, that's a no-brainer to me. That, again, I would be totally direct. She's got some really strong whys. How old would you say these people are?
50s.
Yeah. So, I know of the people I know who are pastors and who are dedicated to the church. I know in many cases are sacrificing a lot financially to be able to give to their parishioners. And, and something like this is a wonderful opportunity for them to be able to carry on doing what they're doing and making some extra money. So, so my invite would be, very much, again, being in a hurry. I would talk about, your why, but I would, if she's going to bring up some of the pain that's going on in their life. Mm-hmm. So I would very much say, listen, when we were speaking the other day at lunch, you mentioned about, the fact with, your husband being so involved in the church and da-da-da-da-da. I was thinking about you when I was driving home. That's the truth. And I may have something that will help you guys out. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But let's get together for coffee on Friday afternoon about 5 o'clock, or maybe we can get together after church on Sunday. Mm-hmm. But I would specifically, pick on the biggest point of pain. Okay. And say, as I was driving home, I was thinking about what you said about, your husband working so hard in the church and not having enough money to be able to, whatever it is, whatever that pain is. Say, and this is a great line. I think, again, this is about nuance. I think I might have something that'll help you out. Keywords, think and might. Very gentle. Okay. It's very kind. It's empathetic. But you are going to immediately follow that up with, I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea or not. So, again, that makes it nice and gentle. And so that's all very kind of taking it back. But then, bang, you're going to come down with, but let's get together on Friday at 5 o'clock at Starbucks just around the corner. Have a look at what Dave and I are doing and see if it will make sense for you guys too.
Okay. Thank you.
And again, for those who are listening on this call, nuance of words like think it might help is a really, really great way of inviting it. It is showing that you care. And then see if it makes sense is showing that you care. It's not saying, you have to do this. Oh, my God, you really need to do this. Now, I know some people will invite people that way, and that's fine. That's the way they do it. But for me, in this day and age, I think we're tired of being sold to. I would rather buy from you than you sell to me. Yeah. And I think nuance in the words, like I think it might be something that will help you out, and let's see if it will make sense for you, if he is a much more up-to-date, respectful means of asking someone to take a look at something that they may or may not want to do. And I think that is what is absolutely key. The only thing where we are definite and pushing is we're going to get together. You are going to take a look. Whether you join or not, that's up to you. See if it makes sense for you. Did you guys want to add to that at all?
No, I like what you shared, and absolutely. I know when David and I were new in the business, we didn't look at the business the way you just shared. It was being disappointed when they didn't get in, but we no longer feel that way.
No, absolutely not.
Sharing the business. It's about sharing the business, and they're either interested or they're not, and either one is okay.
And that's exactly right. And for those of you who are MCs or RCs in the business and are disappointed when people don't join the business, just make sure the cure for that is having the right mindset in the first place. And that mindset is I only need 3 good people to be building this business with. I only need 3 good people to be building the business with, because I'm going to duplicate that 3 with them. They're going to duplicate that 3 with them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You'll easily get executive consultant within 15, 18 months, 2 years. And by your 7th level, if you're truly duplicating the right way by building this business respectfully, there's an $11,500 residual check waiting for you on that 7th level. So if you go in with that mindset, then when someone says no to you, that's fine, because you only need the 3. You're going to get more than 3. Again, I'm not just saying just get 3 and stop, but I'm saying that's all you need to get. And mindset is crucial when you're posturing. And when you posture in a business, if you're not emotionally tied to the outcome of the call or the outcome of the presentation, you can posture so much with so much more strength. Did you have any thoughts on that, Dave?
No, I agree with 100%.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, so where are we up to? We got 2 invites for you, Lynn, and 1 for you so far, Dave, or?
That's correct.
Okay, let's do 1 more for you then, Dave.
Rusty.
Okay, talk to me about Rusty.
Rusty was the president of my hog group. That's the Harley Owners Group. He's a big giver. Big giver. He looked at the business, liked what he saw. His wife was a CPA or CFO of a company, and she nixed it. She ended up divorcing him, which was a complete surprise to him. And so he stopped being the president and was focusing his attention on that. His father has moved in with him, I think, to kind of help out. He kind of lost his shirt with the divorce. I'm thinking the way we talked about for Barbara and her husband for Lynn, think about doing the same thing with him and inviting him to basically get back with him, tell him about the 3 changes in Ambit, changes in me and Ambit, and change in his life, which his life's definitely changed since the last time he looked at it. It's been probably 18 months to 2 years since he got his divorce and since he looked at it. So my goal would be to do the presentation, or do the invite, same way we did with Barbara and her husband. And I think I would invite him to Rudy's, and tell him he can bring his dad too, and I would be more than happy to pay for their dinner.
Absolutely. And bring someone else for a second opinion. I love that. That's great. It adds validity to what you're saying. I completely agree. Again, if someone's seen it before, we always go the 3 changes. Change in Ambit, change in you, change in them. And when it comes to inviting them, you can kind of be one of 2 ways. One's a little bit more direct than the other way. So you've done the change in Ambit, done the change in yourself, and then it comes to you. Say, look, obviously it's been 18 months since you had a look, and I know a lot has changed in your life. And so this is the softer approach, which is, I just wanted to give you a call to see if it would make sense to have another look and, see if it's a better timing for you now. Or to be a little bit more intentional, and you can see how it feels as you're saying it, a little bit more direct, so you say, look, it's 18 months since you had a look, and obviously there's been a lot of changes since then. So let's have another look and see if it makes sense now. You see the difference in the 2? One's kind of asking their permission, and this one is saying, let's take another look and see if it makes more sense now at this stage in your life. Again, we're emphasizing on the 3 changes: the change in Ambit, the change in you, and the possible change in them. Well, he's had some major changes, so I might even be a little bit more direct, Dave. And again, you have a natural posture for that. So that's the way I would do that one.
Super. Got it. I'm taking notes. Writing as fast.
Okay, cool. And again, if you need to, actually, what I'll do when I get off this call, I'll send you the code, so you can listen back if you need to. Not that you'll need to, but just in case you want to. Was there any other questions you guys had?
No, I'm excited. This has been invaluable thus far. Just being intentional and having someone who's been very successful in the business, doing some coaching with us.
Well, that's great to hear. I actually got to chill up my spine because, you know, I truly believe in what we do on the Purge Call. Again, it's not changing the system. The system's always been the same. It's just doing the do of it. So what we do on Monday, what we do on Tuesday, and how we invite that person and making sure it gets done. I mean, if the three of us work together like this for 2 years, there'd be no doubt in my mind that you guys would be very strong nationals. You just can't help it because all we're doing is just what everybody should be doing on a daily basis. I mean, so to hear that, I appreciate you saying that, Lynn, because I truly believe that. That's why I do this. You know, we've been doing this school for a couple of years. It's just the process of doing it, isn't it, I think?
Yes, and I have to tell you, the calls don't take that long at all.
How much? And there you go. That's actually an interesting question. How much time would you say you spent each day on your Ambit business following what we do on the Purge Call?
Minutes.
I spend more time doing my bullet points in preparation for the call probably than I am on the call.
Okay, but that makes you a better inviter, right? And that's all we need to be good at, is a good inviter.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because everything else is done for us. You know, we need to create a written list, but we need to be good inviters. But the presentation and the three-way call or the business presentations at the hotels, they're all done for us. So we just need to be great inviters. And again, I know some ECs do this differently than I do, but I think it's worth the patience and the time to create a good, strong invite, because that one person may be that next national. And what a shame if you blow it because you go for a cookie cutter invite.
Yes, I like the idea of fine-tuning the invitation and gearing it toward the individual, based on your relationship, based on how you know them, based on whether or not they've seen it. It makes a big difference.
I agree 100%. All right, guys. Any other questions before we go?
No, we're excited for tomorrow's call with you.
Fantastic. Me too. Well, good luck tomorrow, guys. And I appreciate your patience, Dan. Thank you very much. I'm actually driving with up to Denton right now to go and pick a car up with him. And here we are running the business. I love it. Fantastic.
Well, we want you to get there safely. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Well, I appreciate that. We're in a nice slow car, so he's a very sensible driver, so we're safe. But thanks, Mom. I appreciate you taking care of it.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a super night and good luck tomorrow, and I'll speak to you tomorrow night.
All right.
Okay,
good
thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
All righty, bye-bye.